All right, I want to take a couple minutes and just talk about internet leads because internet leads are unique. In fact, internet leads is the equivalent of what real estate used to do when they had what's called not open house, but you'd sit and do floor duty.
Floor duty, right.
And you did floor duty wanting somebody to walk in and ask about a property. Well, we don't do floor duty at World Impact Real Estate. It's a little different, and we just believe that most people are online searching, whether it's Trulia, Realtor.com, Homes Connect, Homes.com, Zillow. They are online searching, and when they see a property that they're interested in, then they just click the picture of the agent there for more information. What we have to do, what we've got to realize is when they've pressed that button, they're expecting a call right away. Now, if it's Trulia or Zillow, most of the web pages, Realtor.com, usually there are 3 agents that are paying to be on that page. It's a marketing tool for real estate agents. So a buyer looks at a picture of one of the agents and they press for more information. Most of the companies automatically send that buyer lead to all 3 of the agents, whether they requested the other 2 or not. So now they have 3 phone calls going out there, 3 messages to agents to contact them. And statistics show, National Association of Realtors, statistics shows that the first agent that contacts a potential buyer and gives them relevant information is the agent that they will stay committed to and work with. So it's imperative that we contact the client immediately. And
excuse me a second, the relative or relevant rather information, oftentimes you get a call, you're not sure what they're calling about per se, but you're saying you should go ahead and call, even perhaps if you haven't had time to look it up on the MLS. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. I could be driving down the car and get a text message and says that I have a new lead from Zillow. Well, I don't have access to the computer to see which property they're wanting information about, but I will immediately call them and I will tell them, hey, this is Rodney, and I just got a text message. I'm driving, so I don't even know what property you were requesting information about. I'm in Sandestin area right now, and I just start conversation with them. In real estate, it's all about the relationship. From the first conversation until you meet them at the first house, you've got to give them information and build rapport with them. The goal is to get an appointment. I think that, and by being relevant in information, I think you should give them the price. Too many agents, the first question out of their mouth is, are you qualified? Are you working with a lender? And that is offensive to a lot of buyers. Most buyers are going to call on properties that they believe is probably in their price range. And my personal opinion, I will drive, I will meet with somebody, I will show them a house before I even ask them if they are qualified. Now, if they're wanting to see a foreclosure, that's an excellent opportunity for me to find out if they're paying cash. Because I simply tell them, when you're buying a foreclosed property, when we go to write an offer, we will have to either submit proof of funds for cash or a letter from a lender. I don't know if you're paying cash or are you working with a lender. So I'm able just to segue into that without it feeling like I'm trying to pre-qualify them before I show them a property. So absolutely, when someone calls me and I get the text, I contact them, even if I'm not in front of a computer, if nothing else, to acknowledge that I've received their message, and I will get them information as soon as possible. So I think returning the phone call is really important. Also, because I compare an internet lead to floor duty, it would be the equivalent of I'm sitting back here in my office, someone does walk in physically off the street and has a question. And my assistant comes and tells me there's a couple out here waiting to see me. They have a question about a property. And I say, okay, I'll tell them I'll be there in a little bit. And then I finish what I'm working on for 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Chances are they're going to walk out. They're going to go find somebody that will help them. An internet lead is no different. When someone sends you a request, they are sitting in a virtual waiting room. And every minute that goes along that you don't call them, there's a high probability that they're going to click somebody else's picture to give them results, give them an answer. So it's imperative that you communicate with them immediately. Now, specific to the Zillow leads that we have, these are a little different. People are contacting us on pre-foreclosure properties. So oftentimes, these are properties that the lis pendens has been filed and they have been notified that they're delinquent on their mortgage, and there's a high probability that it's going to go into foreclosure. Many websites, and Zillow is one, that now takes this information, puts it on the web page, and allows the purchasers, the buyers, to request information on pre-foreclosures. So when we get those calls, these are real unique phone calls. So we take the property address and the person that called, we get their phone number and their name, and we will call them back. We go to the MLS to see if the property has been listed. About 95% of the time, it hasn't been. So what we do is contact the homeowner of that property. We send them a letter or a postcard that we have that says, hey, we realize you're having maybe some financial challenges right now, and we have options for you. And we have a buyer interested in your property. Would you consider allowing us to help you short sale your property? Well, what we've done at that point is we've helped the buyer, homeowner, avoid foreclosure by offering them an alternative. And most people that are upside down in their mortgage, they don't know what to do. And so they don't even read their mail anymore. And we're able to call them and give them an alternative and an option. Now, at the same time, that's going to take a while. They have to respond back to us. So I look at the property that they requested information on, the location, the size of the property, and the price point, and then I find a comparable house. When I call back the buyer that called me initially, I tell them, listen, I appreciate you calling me. I've looked into that. That house is not listed for sale yet, but there has been a lis pendens filed. That house is in pre-foreclosure. So what I've done, I've sent them a letter telling them that I have a buyer interested in seeing that property. But while I was on the website, I saw a house 4 doors down, same square footage, but it looks like they've put a little bit of updating in it, and it's listed for around the same price. And I would love to show you that one. Are you available this afternoon? So what I immediately do is turn that one buyer lead into a potential listing that will help a seller who's upside down on their mortgage. In real estate, think about this. We get paid for solving people's problems. The greater the problem, the greater the reward. So we are rewarded, we are paid to help people solve their problems. Internet leads, if I could wrap it into this.
Just one quick question. When a buyer that you just mentioned calls inquiring about that particular type of house, you don't know right off if it's listed or not. You have to go and investigate, look up, see if it's there. That's the only way you're going to know. The buyer is not going to know to tell you that this is the lis pendens house or something like that. I mean, that's something that you're going to have to
That's correct.
delve in and find out.
That's correct. Now, sometimes it is my listing because I do a lot of short sales. And so when they give me the property address, sometimes I know it right off the top of my head, or I may have already shown the house to somebody else. I would guess probably 10% of the time, the actual house that they call on is for sale. 90% of the time, it has not been listed yet. And so yes, I have to do my homework, and I just go to the MLS and see if it's actively listed, and then I can check it on the clerk of courts as well. But if it's listed with the websites as a pre-foreclosure, they've got that information from the clerk of court, which is public information. And that's just the first step of foreclosure. Gives us plenty of time to still work with a potential seller. So that one phone call really gives us the opportunity to help 2 different clients.